Good afternoon, beekeepers and bee enthusiasts. How you doing? It's another great day at the farm, and we are hanging out. It's really nice weather outside. It's around 75 degrees out. The sun is out. And as you can see from this hive, there's like little to no activity. There's been like a scout bee that's been kind of checking out the hive, but basically nothing is coming or going from this hive. And generally, when we see that over a period of a few days, we can pretty much guarantee that something has occurred on the inside and the colony is no longer there, because the weather is just too nice for a healthy colony to be giving up the opportunity to get nectar and all that good stuff. So, you know, whenever we see a colony that basically doesn't have any bees coming or going, we know that there's probably an issue on the inside and we need to investigate. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going inside this hive. We're going to be taking a look. I haven't been inside it yet. I have no idea what it looks like, so it's going to be a surprise for you as well as it is for me, and it should be a good opportunity. But the big thing, you know, I want to get across to everybody is, you know, so many people are concerned, like, oh my God, I lost my bees. What am I going to do? I just lost my bees and I love them so much. How can I cope with losing my bees? But part of having an apiary is over time you're going to lose colonies. It's just a natural part of how honeybees operate. Sometimes colonies survive, sometimes they die out. And that's just part of it. Like every beekeeper loses bees. It's just how it works. So it's going to be a really good learning experience. And without further ado, let's break right into it. Okay, so again, I haven't been in this hive. I don't know what it looks like. I can only assume that the colony has either left or died out because we're just not seeing any activity coming in outside of the front of the hive except some scout activity and whatnot. So let's go ahead and open this hive and get into it and see what we can find. Now, I opened this hive probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago to put in the honey frames. And since then, there's just been like hardly any activity. So we're going to open it up. And then while I'm doing this, I'm going to kind of talk about, you know, colony loss and whatnot. So you kind of get an understanding of what's going on. Any case, let's go ahead and pull this frame out and see what we can see. Again, this frame is just a frame with an inch strip. When we fill this hive up, you know, we pretty much put a bunch of frames in with just inch strips of wax on them. Now, a lot of people really love their bees, and that's great. If you love your bees, that's outstanding. But if you are going to become a beekeeper, you've got to understand that you're going to lose colonies from time to time. Because on Earth, if honeybees could just spread without ever losing colonies, then the whole world would be overrun in honeybees. So naturally, there has to be colonies that don't make it. And, you know, it's just part of it. So you can't get too sad or upset if you lose a colony. Okay, already what I'm seeing here is some wax moths. Not a lot, but there is some. I'm not seeing any honey. Oh yeah. So we got some wax moss in here. But one thing I'm not seeing is there's no honeybees in here. So what does that mean? What really occurred in here? Well, basically the colony could not fend off the wax moss, and the wax moss took over. And the honeybees, instead of trying to fight them off and stay for a long period of time, they left the colony, or they left the hive. Sometimes honeybees, if their diseases get bad enough, the colony will actually leave and go die off somewhere rather than stay in the hive and die in the hive and, you know, help the disease spread more in the comb. And the reason why they do that is there's hopes that another colony one day will take this comb and basically use it as their new home. Now I'm sure a few people will say, well, Wes, surely you could treat that hive. You could treat that hive and that would keep those wax moths out. But you would be wrong, because even treated hives have honeybee diseases. There's no way you can get rid of all of them. And the diseases are just what happens sometimes, you know? Now, let's see if I can pick up the phone. I'm going to just show you the inside. As you can see, there's really nothing. There's no dead honeybees. So this tells us that the honeybees were inside and the wax moths got a little too strong and the bees vacated. They said, we're out of here. And that's just the natural way it is sometimes. Interesting. Okay, so you've cleaned out your hive and the colony is gone. We know that. We can pretty much tell from the outside that they weren't there anymore, but we've definitely confirmed it now. So what can we do now? Like, what's the next step? Well, the best thing I like to do whenever I've cleaned out a hive is go ahead and prep it to catch a swarm, okay? Remember, you can catch swarms directly in hives. We've done it before. You can bait a hive and basically bees will come and they will check it out and they will move in. And we've got plenty of frames here, and some of them have some wax moss, but a lot of the frames are good to go. So what we'll do is we'll use the really good frames, we'll put them inside, and then we'll basically bait it and then basically get it ready to go. I say bait it, but it's basically already baited because we've got comb we're putting in, and also there's propolis on the inside. It smells like a beehive. So new honeybees will definitely be checking it out and they'll be interested in moving in. So let's go ahead and get this thing ready for a new colony. That looks like a good frame. That's not good. That's not good. That looks like a good frame. You know, the frames, as far as reusing them, as long as they're not too messed up, and I've even heard people say that a healthy colony can move in on some messed up frames and pretty much fix them, even if they've got wax moss on them. Like a new colony can come in and basically fix the frames, and the frames are just as good as new. I'll tell you what, I think we're just gonna use those three, put those in there. And then these frames are still good. They've got the inch strip of wax on top of them, so they're still good. I'm not putting any of the other frames inside because they've just got some mold and whatnot on it, but these frames in here are good to go. Put that in there. Okay. And that's basically it. I just put the frames in, and the new colony will come along. They'll move right in. We might freeze these frames to get the mold and stuff off, because these frames are still good too. Just because you got a few parasites on your frames doesn't mean they're not worth using anymore. I'll fix something. Cool. Very nice. It's as easy as that. So what did we knock out today? You know, we suspected a colony was no longer inside the hive. So we opened it up. We confirmed that there was wax moss on the inside, and the colony that had previously existed in here moved out. They left. And that's just part of it. You know, diseases are part of beekeeping. You know, it's something you're going to deal with. You know, we're treatment free, so we don't put chemicals or anything in our colonies. And even people that do treat, they are still going to deal with diseases. It's still going to be a part of it. So, you know, at the end of the day, what you have to accept is, you know, if you have honeybees, there are going to be colonies from time to time that perish due to diseases. And that's just a natural way of life. And like I said earlier, you know, if honeybees didn't have a way of, like, you know, resetting or losing a portion of their numbers, then honeybees would take over the world, and there'd be way too many honeybees everywhere. So naturally, all throughout the world, a lot of colonies survive, but a lot of colonies perish too, and that's just part of it. So, you know, it's really cool. And the neat thing is, you don't have to look at it as such a bad thing. If you do lose a colony, you can bait your previous hive, put some frames on the inside and everything, and get it set, and so you could possibly have a swarm move in. And the great thing about it is, a hive that's already existed, it smells like a beehive. It's got comb on the inside, so new bees really like this stuff. And we've caught bees in hives before. It's really easy because you don't have to put a hive up in a tree or anything like that. You know, you can just catch it right on the ground. So it's really easy. And yeah, we'll look forward to for another colony to move in. And that about wraps it up. So we hope you enjoyed, and until next time, we'll see you soon.